This PBA season has had a little bit of everything. The lowest lows, the highest highs, and incredible majors. For a third straight time, it's never been done before. TLC champion Jason Cowell. Yes. Brian Smith can finally call himself a PBA champion. Does he have it here for a major? 8, 9, he's your winner. Walter Ray Williams Jr. is a major champion. That was just part of Walter Ray's season of dominance and excellence. You could say it's been picture perfect. Today, he's part of a fearsome foursome who look to end the season as world champion. We find out who it is next. To the 2003 PBA World Championship is complete. For the first time in PBA history, we wrap up the season with this prestigious event. The fourth and final major of the year with a record-tying $120,000 in prize money is on the line. We come to you from Taylor Sportplex in Taylor, Michigan, just minutes from downtown Detroit. Now let's meet our four finalists. From Ocala, Florida, his 36 career titles include 4 majors, a 5-time PBA Player of the Year, and the Hall of Famer, Walter Ray Williams Jr. His 29 career wins include 6 majors and bowling's elusive Triple Crown. A PBA Hall of Famer from St. Ann, Missouri, from Dayton, Ohio, making his second career TV Finals appearance, looking for his first PBA title, Brian Kretzer. Last season's PBA Player of the Year. He has 1 major title amidst his 29 career victories. Another Hall of Famer from Jackson, New Jersey, Parker Bohn III. Those are the 4 finalists here in Taylor. Welcome everyone to suburban Detroit. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson. We'll hear from Wesley Goodell in a few moments. Randy, this event's format shows us 4 remaining bowlers. The sport's greatest paycheck goes to the champion. In semifinal number 1, Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Pete Weber bring a combined 65 wins and 10 major titles to this marquee matchup. Semifinal number 2, reigning PBA Player of the Year, Parker Bohn III, and Brian Kretzer looking for his first title. 2 winners will go on to bowl for $120,000, Dave.
Randy, we are lucky today, no question about it, here in suburban Detroit. So much prestige, so much prize money, a record-tying $120,000 on the line to the winner. We have 94 combined titles and 11 majors, believe it or not, with our 3 champions so far and 3 Hall of Famers, and Brian Kretzer, who has never won a title before.
And the beauty of this format, he's the only qualifier to make it this far in the tournament. 260 players started the event. Instead of the normal 18 games of qualifying, it was 25 games this week. Once you got into match play and you were lucky enough to make it through the round of 16, you got to face the top 8 seeded players in the round of Super 16. The 4 players advanced. First place, 120 grand, and the title of World Championship. Now, oil pattern this week, fitting for a major, very flat from side to side, very challenging. It allowed the players to play to their strengths. Walter Ray Williams Jr. straight, Pete Weber, Brian Kretzer playing the deep inside line, Parker Bohn III playing a similar line to Walter Ray Williams Jr., only on the left side of the lane.
So, Randy, just the one lefty in Parker Bohn III on the 41-foot pattern here at the World Championship. How does that affect the rest of the competition?
Well, Parker's got the whole left side of the lane to himself. It's all going to be determined by how the righties break down their side of the lane.
By day's end, one of the 4 bowlers will be $120,000 richer if they win the PBA World Championship. Perhaps it's Walter Ray Williams Jr., who against PDW has been outstanding on TV so far in his great career. Fellow Hall of Famer Pete Weber will be his opponent. 2 legends go head-to-head in suburban Detroit next. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA World Championship is brought to you by Odor Eaters. Put odor eaters in, kick foot odor and wetness out. By Miller High Life. To live simply, proudly, boldly, manly, this is the High Life. And by Cambridge Credit Counseling. Find out how good it feels to be debt-free. Formerly known as the PBA National. Now it's the World Championship. Held here in Taylor for the first time ever. Let's find out how our first two semifinalists got here. In the round of 16, Walter Ray Williams Jr. took on Dale Traber. He would beat Traber and in the process string together 12 strikes for a perfect game and advance to the round of 8. In the round of 8, he met Ryan Schaefer. Walter Ray took care of Schaefer, beating him 3-1 to move on to today's TV show. Pete Weber met Brian Voss in the round of 16 in what looked like a great matchup. But Voss just didn't have it. Pete swept him 3-0. Moving to the round of 8 to meet Brian Goebel. Weber's game and intensity never let up. He would sweep Goebel 3-0 to move to the TV show today.
It's been 6 years since these great bowlers faced off together on television. And Walter Ray, I don't have to remind you that you won that last meeting on TV with Pete Weber to win the 1997 St. Clair Classic. Is it great to face Pete again, and what can we expect today that would be different from last time you two faced?
Well, I'm going to win again, but the last time we were going for $2 million, and it was an exciting race. It was the last tournament on ABC. It was kind of an emotional event. It was a pleasure bowling Pete. It's going to be a pleasure bowling him again. He's a great player, but I'm going to take him down.
Well, Pete may beg to differ on that, but you said yesterday, to be the best, you have to beat the best. You've got your chance now. How much more meaningful would it be to win this tournament having beaten Walter Ray?
Well, to win the first match against Walter Ray would mean I did beat the best in the world for the last 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, Walter's been the man to beat. And the only way to overcome and be #1 is to beat #1, and that's what I have to do today.
Well, Walter Ray leads the all-time TV series 5-2, but like I said, it's been a long time, so it's all fair game today. Dave?
Leslie, hard to believe, 43 TV shows since the last time Walter Ray faced Pete Weber. 43 for Walter since that time. On the money today. On the line, $120,000. Already, the bowlers have wrapped up a very nice $20,000. With his trademark sunglasses, always wears them on TV. Not because of any sort of eye issues, but just to fight off the glare.
Little movement off to the right side. Pete backs off, regroups.
We have a big crowd here today in Taylor. And we're underway with the World Championship. What a start for PBW. He's in the pocket.
And although the oil pattern this week, Dave Ryan, was very unique, we hadn't used it in any other major. These guys made this oil pattern look real easy. Walter Ray Williams Jr. had a 300 game last night. Parker Bohn III had a 300 game last night.
Walter Ray's day starts in the pocket. 10 in the pit for Walter Ray Williams Jr., who is trying to catch the late, great Earl Anthony with 41 all-time career titles. He may do that next year. By the numbers. Remember, they didn't bowl that much, these two, because they were in the top 8 and got right to the Super 16.
Take a look at this average here. 246. I think Walter Ray missed or had 1 or 2 open frames in the 10 or so games that he bowled.
Oh, that's not good.
Not that far. All he wanted.
Playing a lot further right than he did yesterday. Watch, this ball is going to be right around first arrow when it gets halfway down the lane. The third board.
Just this week.
1 spare he missed.
Remember, he got right to the Super 16 when all qualifying was bypassed. He was able to cover the 2 pins there for a mark. They call him Deadeye for a reason. Incredibly accurate bowler. PDW, among others, as he said with Leslie moments ago, certainly would agree Walter Ray Williams Jr. is the best, maybe the best ever. Certainly an argument there. Looks to be a shoe-in for player of the year. Pete wants to take him down, and he's got a 4-pin up.
And right away, you know, the players that bowled this week didn't see this kind of reaction. Now, the via lanes are a higher friction surface, and they yielded much higher scores, even though it's the same lane pattern that we used at Taylor Lanes.
Trying to stay perfect. Does so at single pin conversion pair. Randy, you see the fans on the right of the TV pair are right on top of the action here in Taylor. Our arena setting, a great look from our jib camera. We have the great looks from our crew, done an incredible job all year. So the fans are right on top of the action.
And let's just hope for Walter Ray's sake, none of them have any cameras.
Shreds the rack again. Each bowler. Good start. Tracy certainly enjoys the good start from Pete.
We've talked about this before. Now watch the hand of Pete Weber open at the top. There's no grab. The hand rotates around the side of the ball. Thumb comes out first, fingers last.
Back to Walter Ray. Oh. And a 9-pin for him from Ocala, Florida. His wife Paige with him every step of the way on this 2002-2003 tour season. The wives sit together. They are very good friends. It's almost like one big family on tour.
Yeah, it
long
sure is.
season.
Right now, Walter Ray's reaction doesn't look all that hot, and he's only a pin down. Although Pete is working on a strike in the third. And the one thing you don't see Walter Ray do a lot of is not hit the pocket. First shot, obviously, really good. The left lane, got it wide, went light, and then the solid 9 in the third frame.
Now, tour title number 37 would inch him closer to Earl Anthony's all-time record of 41. What a year he's had. 10 TV shows. Quick high mom back home for Pete.
In this big a venue, there's going to be subtle distractions, and you have to block that out of your mind and get focused on the job at hand.
Walter Ray's going to step away. There are some fans chattering here a bit. It's a rowdy crowd, as we saw at the top of the broadcast, and jam-packed for our season-ending World Championship, as the march has led us here in March to suburban Detroit. Rush in the pocket again. Deadeye has done it one more time. 2 strikes in his first 4 frames.
Pretty good shot here after being distracted, not once but twice, and stepping off the approach. That's what makes Walter Ray so good. His mental game, his ability to focus.
Back to Pete Weber, slightly high, and leaves a 4-pin.
I mean, if you could compare the change of direction down the lane, Walter Ray's change of direction versus Pete's is like 3 times what Walter Ray's is. It's just carving the back part of the lane.
Covers his mark with an easy spare. For the season recap, PBA news, and updates on your favorite players, log on to PBA.com as we get ready for the 2003-04 season. Next October, you can catch up with all the regional action the bowlers are involved with as well in the offseason. Pete plans on a lot of golf coming up. The first business at hand, trying to win a World Championship, leaves a 10-pin.
God damn it, come on.
Third arrow at the 15-16 foot mark, and the big time ring in 10. 6 doesn't go to the sidewall to take the 10 out. It goes around. That's caused by entry angle into the pins.
We are all even. And an incredible matchup of superstars. The sport's biggest stars right here on display. And Pete emotional as usual.
A lot of money on the line.
I talked to both bowlers last night after they were able to win, make the TV show. Each know how much is on the line here. Another solid 10-pin for Walter Ray. It's not just the money, though. I think it's the prestige, too, of winning a major championship. And these two have so many titles between them, it still means so much.
The difference between Pete's ringing 10 and that shot there, that 6-pin lays in the channel, the flat 10. Pete Weber's entry angle a little too sharp. Walter Ray Williams Jr.'s not sharp enough.
In match play, outstanding numbers for Walter Ray. Coming right at you as our crew here in Taylor, the Sportsplex Arena Bowling shows you the different sights and sounds of the PBA Tours we have all season long. Walter Ray bidding for another Player of the Year honor with Ty Earl Anthony with 6. And he told us last night, hey, Earl won several Player of the Year honors in his 40s, as Walter Ray is now. He's still in his prime. Gets some help. Terrorizer goes down. Leaning 5-pin goes down for Walter Ray, and look at the dream matchup. We are all in the semifinal. The prestige of the World Championship wrapping up our season on the line between the two legends in Detroit today. Having won the 1987 Tournament of Champions and the 88 U.S. Open, Pete Weber needed a win at the 89 National Championship over Dave Ferraro to complete bowling's Triple Crown. He qualified as tournament leader and beat Ferraro in a championship match, the first of his 2 national championships.
Triple Crown ring.
We're back. Taylor Sportsplex, suburban Detroit. We started the qualifying at Taylor Lanes right down the road. We're here at the Sportsplex as you see our Triple Crown winners. Pete Weber being one of them. Brings us to our Dexter approach, and I'm going to show you why Pete Weber is as great as he is. In my opinion, one of the best talents ever. This is what he's been working on with John Jowdy, this push away. Go ahead and roll, David. A little lower backswing than he used to have, but still that great finish. Now this is what, in my opinion, what makes Pete so spectacular. The hand rotating around the side of the bowling ball in a cupped position. And the second thing is this. Look at the fingers, the open hand, no grab in any shot.
Ready, that's this week's Dexter approach. This building sits on 2,500. And it is close to full today. Very intense, alive crowd. And usually, if you look at the other arena finals we've had on TV this year, it brings up the play as well. In the pocket, Pete Weber, case in point. We started this frame dead even. As he strikes in the 6th. Case in point, Tacoma and Norm Duke. Remember that, 300 game.
Beautiful shot again. The other thing about Pete, his open hand, yeah, that's great. His hand rotating around the side, but the follow through always goes in the direction he wants the ball to go in.
7th frame. Strike here is up 10 pins. 10 pins.
Man, Jesus Christ!
I looked up intensity in the dictionary, and I saw a picture of Pete.
Not surprisingly. And he's told us throughout the season that he's tried to cap the emotion a little bit, except when there's a big tournament title on the line. So we're seeing it all flow out today here in Taylor. Flirting with disaster along the channel and checking the approach and footwork. But covers the spare in the 7th frame. All even.
Pete's made some great shots. He's only got 3 strikes to show for it. Walter can take a 10-pin lead with a strike in the 7th. All-time leader in TV appearances. Here he is.
Walter Ray in the the pocket again.
And this time, no solid 9.
NCAA Women's Basketball Championship Week continues on ESPN2. It's CUSA Conference USA Basketball, 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And then Championship Week presented by 7-Up rolls on. West Coast semifinal game, the West Coast Conference, midnight Eastern here on ESPN. So ESPN and ESPN2, your homes for Championship Week. It's hoop time. Here it's bowling time. Strike time. Walter Ray Williams Jr., 60 feet to success.
Yes! And what a time to throw a 3-bagger. 6th, 7th, and 8th. Walter Ray against Dale Traber yesterday shoots 182 the first game, switches balls, and averages 270 the next 3 games. He knows how to close, and he knows what adjustments to make and when to make them.
3-bagger for him. Now it's free. Pete Weber needs it. Gets some help. As the 10-pin is tripped late, still has a 7 to deal with.
And almost the devil's bedposts. Another ball hitting the pocket and another 9 count. And right now, there's nothing Pete Weber can do. He's making great shots, and the pins are not cooperating.
A shrug of bewilderment from Pete Weber, now down 21 pins. As Walter Ray Williams Jr. in the foundation frame will try for a 4-bagger and look to try to put this away and get to the finals. And in doing so, you clinch $50,000 as at least the runner-up. He has other ideas. In the pocket.
Yeah. Hey, you know what Pete thought about all those 9 spares? Well, he just showed you.
Now an attempt for a 4-bagger. Strike here, he's got a 31-pin lead. Time the great Walter Ray has been on TV. Does he get help with a 4? No.
Get the hair left. Come on, man.
Doesn't get the late trip.
A hair left and just a pinch slow is going to allow this ball to hook a pinch high. Only leaving the 4-pin. 9 was there, but only for a second.
Earl Anthony made 113 shows in his tremendous career. Many would say Walter Ray is the best ever. Hard to argue, certainly the best of this year. On the road, the regional schedule to tell you about now that our regular PBA season ends today at the Air Force Base in Illinois and Bermuda. That'd be a nice trip. For much more, log on to PBA.com, the best website out there for bowling. That's what he needs. 10-pin, does he get help? By a whisker. The messenger rolls past the 10 on the deck.
Well, with a spare here, Walter Ray, spare strike, he shoots 217. Pete Weber can strike out for 218.
So he needed a double and +1.
Needed a double and 1 to lock him out.
Just prior to that last shot. And again, with some distractions in our huge crowd here in Taylor.
And just when it looked like Walter Ray was going to bury Pete, Pete has new life.
Keep in mind, Pete has been in the pocket the entire match, just hasn't gotten the breaks. Maybe now he takes advantage.
Walter Ray with a strike on this next ball will force Pete Weber to throw 3 strikes in the 10th frame to win by 1 pin.
Come on.
An incredible scenario. The battle of the Titans continues here in Taylor. So much on the line. Perfect ball.
It's exactly what we wanted. Talked to Pete Weber last night. He said, I'd rather win sitting on the bench or putting him away early. Right now, he has to show up and perform at his best in the 10th frame. 3 strikes. He's a winner. 2 strikes and 9. We have a tie.
29 titles. 22 years on tour. The great Pete Weber has it on his shoulders. How many times has he faced this moment and been triumphant? He's got to have it. There's one. Needs this to at least get a tie, and then 9 pins.
This 1 and 9 for the tie. Pete's the only thing going through his mind right now. 2 perfect shots.
Does he have a second in him? 10 pin. And Walter Ray Williams Jr. advances to the finals. Just like that. What a match.
Looked like another great shot, and just another 10 pin for Pete.
Third player of the year no matter what.
Jedi does it again. He advances to the final to take on either Parker Bohn III or Brian Kretzer, who has never won a PBA title. What an unbelievable semi between 2 legends in Taylor today. He was perfect in the pocket all day long, but Walter Ray was that much better. The exciting action continues next. '83 would be the last of Earl Anthony's incredible 6 PBA National Championships, with a final coming over Mike Durbin. Earl would twice three-peat this illustrious event, winning from 73 to 75, and again between 81 and 83. Just as impressive, he was the tournament leader in every single one of those victories. Earl Anthony owned this national championship. Earl Anthony is the all-time leader with 10 major championships, an absolute legend. Plenty of legends on display in Taylor today. Dave Ryan, Randy Peterson, Leslie Goodell.
SALVINO, Hall of Famer. You've played against Earl Anthony so many times, but of the 2 men we just saw out there, one of them draws frequent comparisons to Earl Anthony. Will Walter Ray Williams Jr. go down as a greater bowler than Earl Anthony?
I've seen them all, and there's no question Earl Anthony was a great bowler, but I feel in the next year or 2, Walter Ray will end up being the greatest bowler to ever live.
Well, you won this tournament in 1962. What does it take to win a major?
It's very difficult. You have to be physically strong and mentally strong, because the stress, it seems like it's the showcase of bowling. You want to be great. The TV ratings are better. Everybody's watching. You're all pumped up, and you have to control those nerves. That's very difficult.
Carmen, thank you. Dave, back to you.
Leslie, thanks, and great to see Carmen again. He's been with us on many tour stops this season. Parker Bohn III has never made a show at the PBA National or the World Championship until today. It's been a rough year for him so far, but a win today will vindicate all the frustration. He takes on Brian Kretzer, who has never won a PBA title. What a time it would be to win his first ever. Brian and Parker are next. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA World Championship is brought to you by Odor Eaters. Put odor eaters in, kick foot odor and wetness out. By Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. And by Bayer Aspirin. Take it for pain, take it for life. We have had 6 new champions on the PBA Tour this year. The last, Chris Hayden in Orlando 3 weeks ago. Maybe Brian Kretzer becomes number 7. Let's find out how he and Bohn got here to the show. Brian Kretzer met Danny Wiseman in the round of 16 yesterday. A battle that went the full 5 games. Kretzer was fired up, and so was the crowd as he made his way to the round of 8. That's where he met Tommy DeLuce Jr. last night. Kretzer was bowling well and easily beat DeLuce 3 games to none to advance to today's show, looking for his first ever title. Parker Bohn III matched up against Eric Forkel, lefty against lefty in the round of 16. A great one that had Parker win 3-2 in a come-from-behind victory. So it was on to the round of 8 where Parker met Chris Barnes. That match also went the distance. Parker would throw a perfect 300 game, would beat Chris Barnes 3 games to 2 to advance to the telecast.
Well, because of the format, it took Brian Kretzer 44 games to get here, 34 more than Parker Bohn. Is that a disadvantage, or is there any way you can use that to your advantage?
I don't know if it's a disadvantage or an advantage, but I definitely feel comfortable because I bowled so good this week. So hopefully I'm just going to go out and be comfortable for 2 more games, take this title down.
Well, in 58 elimination matches dating back to the beginning of last season, you have never come back from an 0-2 deficit. You did that yesterday, beating Chris Barnes to get here. I mean, what does that say carrying over physically or mentally? What do you use today?
I think it's all momentum forward. I know last night was last night. Today is today. I'm here to win 2 games and pull home the trophy and check.
Well, he closed out last season with a win, Dave. He'll try to go out in style again today.
Leslie Parker joked with us last night. Yeah, I've been down 0-2 plenty of times in my career, but never come all the way back to win. He certainly would agree. That was a very good sign for what could happen today here in Taylor. From Jackson, New Jersey, looking for a 30th career title today.
And when he was down 0-2 last night against Chris Barnes, the way he won game 3, 300.
Unbelievable. As we saw a moment ago, the 300 game. Absolutely sent the house rocking. Those who were here last night watching. Get started in style. The lone lefty looks good.
And look out for this guy today. And the reason why I say that is, remember we talked at the top of the show about friction on these via lanes, and there's one thing that Parker Bohn III loves is friction, because he throws the ball hard. He likes to be firm, likes to throw it hard, and when you have friction, you can do that.
Working again on the shoes. Did that a lot last night. Working on the shoes, making sure his traction properly adjusted. Kretzer. It's been a while since he's been on TV. Second ever appearance today.
Like a girl.
Didn't like his start. October 30th, 2001. Only TV appearance until now.
Look where Brian is sliding. He's got the big drift left, which helps him to feed the ball to the right.
Picks up his spare. 10-pin for Brian Kretzer, who doesn't appear nervous. Didn't appear nervous when we spoke with him last night, Randy, as we look at by the numbers for these 2 bowlers.
And like Leslie talked about, check out this stat here. The games that were bowled, Parker Bohn's average. Now, Brian Kretzer's average a little bit lower, but remember, the scoring pace at Taylor Lanes was lower than it was here at the Sportsplex. But he did have the only 300 over at Taylor Lanes.
Different surface. Different setting. Same result.
That ball couldn't have faced the 1-3 any better, and it's a nice start for Brian Kretzer. But you know, Brian is no stranger as he saws on the bottom of his shoe. But what he's doing with that brush is roughing up the bottom of that shoe so he doesn't slip. But Brian Kretzer is no stranger to winning big tournaments. When he was an amateur, he won the International Eliminator 2 times, and he won a tournament, the UAE Open, United Arab Emirates, in the Middle East. Big-time amateur tournaments.
Pin looking for help. The messenger across the deck and doesn't get it.
That was almost the penguin coming across, sliding on his belly. The head hits the 7. Didn't quite get there. Now watch this. The head pin's going to go to the side. Now here comes the penguin. Oh. Parker will cover this. Oops.
Again, there are a lot of distractions here in Taylor. You can see over the player's right shoulder, in this case Parker, that view from our crew behind him. They're not used to having the big video boards there also. Watching themselves, essentially. That's our ESPN TV feed they're seeing. There it is to his left and to his right. Great setting here, but it's a different environment. Stays perfect on the single pin spare conversion percentage. ESPN and ESPN2 have a full afternoon of NHL action today for you. Matinee special, Bees and Blackhawks, 2 original 6 teams, and the Red Wings. Speaking of Hockeytown, USA, we're just a few miles from Joe Louis Arena, taking on Anaheim later tonight on ESPN2. About a month left in that regular season. And the playoffs. This is our big World Championship, our Stanley Cup final. And that's a big moment for Parker Bohn III.
PBA Championship Sunday, and watch Parker Bohn put the great touch on this shot right here. This ball is going out to about the 4th board, comes shredding back couple of pins laying on the deck. The Wally. He likes it.
He struck in 2 of his first 3 frames. Live coverage. Our season-ending World Championship continues. Everything on the line. Prestige to the main. Big money. Kretzer has another. A double. And a 10-pin lead as he strikes in the 3rd frame.
Brian Kretzer, huge Ohio State fan.
Couldn't be bigger.
Football, basketball. If Ohio State's playing tiddlywinks, he's there.
He's from Dayton, Ohio. A long road to the TV final. The only of our 4 finalists to have to take this route. Wasn't easy.
I went to 7 games with Jack Jurek, and Brian Kretzer took him out in 4.
Brian, very proud father of Megan and Mason. Megan couldn't be here today. She is at a cheerleading competition in Ohio.
So bad.
But son Mason is here.
So bad.
And boy, is he proud of that. He was just fired up last night.
He's cute.
Had a lot of fun running around.
6-year-old Mason.
Just 6 years old. Loves to go fishing with Dad. Here he's watching his pop take care of the 10-pin. Don't for a second ask Brian Kretzer about the controversy of the ending of that national championship football game between Ohio State and Miami.
Yeah,
he puts that to rest in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, he didn't see any controversy. Of course,
none at all.
Of course, he was wearing the silver and crimson. The silver and whatever red. What do they call the red color for Ohio State? Is it crimson or red?
Crimson.
Okay. Well, I was right the first time.
In the pocket. Parker wants to make sure.
Freeze it, David. Beautiful profile, Parker Bohn III. And like the 6-pin on the right side for righties, Parker wants that 4-pin to do exactly what it just did there. Go to the sidewall, cut the 7 out.
Saw Brian Kretzer's son Mason a moment ago. Parker wants to make sure he says hello to his sons, Parker and Evan. We're 13 and 10. They live in Nashville, Tennessee. And they are watching today. He's not won in 1 full year on tour. Trying to get back in the winner's circle. He's got to deal with the 2 and the 7.
And that was a bad shot by Parker Bohn III. And you heard him say it. That ball never got far enough to the left. He pulled it. Ball goes right through the heart. And then the bad break there of the 4-pin getting tripped late, leaving the 2-7. Parker will try to cover this by hitting both pins with the ball.
Just 3rd TV show of this season. He made 9 last year to lead the tour and look out and open.
Caught too much of the 2-pin.
Leaves the 7.
Just curious why Parker didn't go to his spare ball and throw it straight and hard at the 2-pin, have it deflect off the 2 into the 7. Interesting. Decided to use his strike ball and hook it into that spare. Or into that split, rather.
Perhaps a tactical error. Our first open frame of the day in the 2 matches thus far. Kretzer, can he take advantage? You better believe it.
Well, make him play right here. Clean yourself off, Brian Kretzer, and throw another one like that. You're going to have a nice lead through 6 frames. Beautiful look there down the lane. That flight shot. That's why he put power and revolutions on a bowling ball. Brian Kretzer told us last night, one of the the most frustrating things, he makes it to match play. He leads qualifying, top 5 in qualifying each and every week. And then he gets to match play, and he just doesn't get the job done.
Only 1 TV match in his career before today. Now a chance. With the emotion of the big strike in Taylor to make the finals of the World Championship with a record $120,000 on the line and a huge crowd in suburban Detroit to watch the action. A double for Kretzer. Striking in the 5th and 6th gives him a 23-pin lead on Parker Bohn III, our lone lefty. Back in 1976, Earl Anthony made an unprecedented 4th consecutive PBA National Championship. But he would lose in the semifinal match to Dave Davis. Davis wound up in a 2-frame roll-off with Paul Caldwell in the title match. Caldwell won by only 1 pin, the only time the title match of this event was decided by a roll-off back in 1976, then known as the PBA National Championship. We have so much on the line today at the PBA World Championship. Just outside downtown Detroit, Michigan. $120,000. That ties a PBA record in tour history. For prize money, $50,000 to the runner-up. Walter Ray Williams Jr. has clinched at least that. He's in the final. Dramatic match. He knocked off Pete Weber. Now, it's Parker Bohn III, head-to-head with Brian Kretzer, who has never won a championship on tour. Parker responds.
Beautiful shot there. I'm going to show you why Parker Bohn III has won 29 times, and watch this, freeze it right there, David. Notice we talked about this week in and week out, the level backswing, parallel to the foul line, and look at that balance position. Parker Bohn makes good shots. He repeats shots. He's got a great mental game. That's why he's won so many times. You can have all the great physical tools if you don't have the great mental game to go with it.
And Randy, here's where the mental game certainly is tested. A lot of distractions. It's happened several times. I don't think we've seen much of that throughout the entire season. No. With the exception of Albany, where someone flashed the photo right in the face of Walter Ray, and he threw a bad shot, lost to Chris Barnes in that match.
You get this many people in this venue, this environment, there's going to be that.
Right on top of the action. Doesn't bother Parker one bit. Big ball.
And again, he mentally doesn't let anything bother him so that he can get up and do what he's paid to do, and that's perform and make great shots. That ball is what we like to call dead flush. And he knew it, and he liked it.
And he is down 13. Kretzer works on a strike. Looks now for a 3-bagger, 7th frame. He'll have a 23-pin lead if he can strike again. He's done so in 4 of the first 6 frames. Looking for a 5th. You better believe the help comes from the 10-pin.
Didn't play that good, but it struck. I love them balls.
I think Brian Kretzer's been working on his game any. Last season, 13 steps to get to the foul line because he was having problems getting the ball started the right way. This is yesterday, and he's using the same one today, only 7 steps. Told me last night that one of the things that really helped, he worked with Chris Schlimmer, got rid of all of his equipment a couple of weeks ago, drilled all new stuff, and then Chris Schlimmer backed him up on the approach to lengthen the last 2 steps. He said that's really what made him feel comfortable this week.
Big frame. 7-pin help.
Oh, you gotta love that. You gotta love that. Oh, yeah. Go!
Looks like a man with experience at winning championships. A 4-bagger as he gets a lot of help on the pin deck in the 8th frame.
Roughing up that surface, that slide foot, or slide shoe rather.
Bowler's doing a lot of that today.
New synthetics, fresh synthetics. They don't have all the games, all the wear and tear. But Parker Bohn's not going away.
College basketball coming your way. Conference USA Women's Championship game, 2 o'clock Eastern, over on ESPN2 as Championship Week rolls on. And later tonight, it continues here on ESPN, the West Coast Conference semifinal, midnight Eastern, 9 on the West Coast. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Championship Week presented by 7-Up.
Getting back to the approach and the lanes, these lanes have never been bowled on, never used prior to this week.
Max scores for each. Bottom left of your screen. Foundation frame. Drama continues to escalate. More help. Another strike. Parker Bohn, of course, wife Leslie, who is very pregnant, about a month away from delivering their first child. They're not sure what it is yet, boy or girl. They will not find out early.
Ninth frame, foundation. Brian Kretzer can strike out and shut out Parker Bohn III shooting .269 with 4 more strikes.
5-bagger on the line here.
Oh! Another! Yeah! Threw that one good, didn't I?
The drift to the left, the feed right, the open hips to get the ball to squirt right. That ball's dead flush. And how about that reaction there?
Son, Mason must love this.
Just looking at Dad going, more toys, Dad. More toys.
If he wins,
yes.
Where are they going?
Disney World.
That's the plan. If he wins the title today, to take Mason and Megan. It's 2 kids. Another one on the line.
Oh.
No help this time. The wiggling 10 stays on.
It's okay. With a spare here and a strike, he's going to shoot .248 and walk out Parker Bohn III. He needs to convert this spare and get 9 to meet Walter Ray for the title.
Never got the feeling, in speaking with him last night, Randy, he was at all nervous or intimidated by the field. All those championships, 11 majors combined. He's never won a PBA title, but he didn't seem bothered by the odds.
That's his appearance on the outside, Dave. And I've known Brian for a while, and you know that's his unique approach. His unique approach to this game and this sport. But I got to be honest with you, for him to tell me right now in this situation, or if he does get 9 or a strike here going up against Walter Ray Williams Jr., that he's not going to be nervous, it'd be hard for me to believe that. Too much emotion, too much adrenaline going. There's nerves there. There's just, he's not as nonchalant as he came off last night, I don't think.
9 pins or better, and he's in the final. Is it in?
Yeah!
Is an emphatic yes. Brian Kretzer is the winner. It's his first ever TV show victory. And it comes today with son Mason watching closely from the first row.
What a great shot this was. When you need 9, just throw it right there, dead flush. Watch this reaction.
Parker will finish out his week in style.
And for the first time in a long time, Parker Bohn III is not going to eclipse $100,000 in a season. Brian just said hi to his daughter, Megan. Still a great year.
Certainly had never made a PBA National Championship or the World Championship show. That changed this week. He's got the birth of a brand new baby to look forward to in the offseason. About a month away. But father-son moment is what we're concentrating on right now. Brian Kretzer with a 248-222 victory is off to the finals today. Such electricity in the house today at the PBA World Championship. Wrapping up our PBA season. The final event. Here from the Taylor Sportsplex in Taylor, Michigan with $120,000 on the line. Our own Randy Peterson beat Amleto Monticelli at the National Championship in Toledo back in 1987. And Randy is the subject of this week's Miller High Life Get to Know Them.
Randy Peterson. From the top. Well, I started bowling when I was 8 years old and joined my first league when I was 12. I turned pro when I was 18, and biggest mistake of my life. They really taught me what bowling was when I got to the PBA Tour. My first singles show was in Tucson, Arizona, 1985. And I shot 150. My beautiful wife, Becky, 11 years. And I have 2 beautiful children, Savannah and Chad. I'm the luckiest guy in the world to have them. My wife is a bowler. She averaged 200 pretty much her whole life. Well, not her whole life, because when she first started, she wouldn't have averaged 200, because that takes practice. My greatest moment was winning title number 13. You know, a lot of guys talk about their first win, and for me, it was my last win. It was just so much more involved in it. So many more people involved in that were with me, that were pulling for me. I went home and I enjoyed that win for a couple of weeks. It was really, really special.
And what an emotional moment that was for our Randy Peterson over Chris Barnes. Pepsi Open in Philadelphia this year. Subject of this week's Miller High Life. Get to know them. Happy to show our own Randy Peterson.
Hold me.
Plenty of emotion here in Taylor today. Last year it was Lonnie Wallachek facing off against Doug Kent at the World Championships. After taking care of Rick Steele-Smith in semifinal round action, Doug Kent winning the final score of only 210 to beat the struggling Wallachek's 160. In the process, Kent would take home a PBA record first place check of $120,000. That was the final PBA World Championship held in Toledo, Ohio. Now we're in suburban Detroit. There is Doug Kent and his fiancée, Chrissy Beamish, who just announced that news. Congrats to them. And congrats to Chris Peters, PBA co-owner, and Fred Schreier, our PBA commissioner. An incredible job these gentlemen have done with their entire staff. Steve Miller just behind them, our president and CEO. On the road, the regional schedule we told you about earlier with the Air Force Base and Bermuda as well. We'll also show you the days in on the road. The winners from this year, starting with Double D, Dave DeAntremont. A great story to begin our season.
Yeah, it sure was. Dave battling the wrist injuries and all. Patrick Healy Jr., Walter Ray. Of course, you see Walter Ray's name a lot this year.
A lot of first-time winners. Eugene McCune, our own Randy Peterson, an amazing moment. The roll-off with Norm Duke and Traver, of course, how emotional that was. Brian Goebel, another new winner on tour this year. Almost retired, and then an incredible moment for him. Pete Weber in North Carolina just a couple of weeks back. Lonnie Wallachek, a two-time winner, along with Walter Ray, the only two to win at least two. Season opener comes away October 12th this year. More about that on PBA.com. More now for more Leslie Goodell.
I'm with two of this year's winners, Chris Barnes and Brian Boston. Gentlemen, this is the time of year, as the season winds down, that the discussion focuses on Player of the Year. You guys get to vote for Player of the Year. Who gets your vote this year? Chris, start with you.
Well, I think it's no question. Walter Ray's had the best year. Norm and I were probably in contention at the midway point, but he outclassed all of us in the last 10 tournaments.
And you, Brian?
Walter Ray, there's no doubt. You know, once again, he's done it many times, and this is his year.
Well, Brian won this tournament in 1988, and as he liked to point out, Chris was 12 at the time. But, Brian, what does it take to win a major?
It takes a lot. You know, there's so much hype surrounding it. It's the same players, but to be able to look at a tournament in advance, say, this, you know, I want to win this. It takes something special. It really does. These guys, you know, they're looking to do that right now.
Quite a final we have here with a Hall of Famer and a guy who's never done this before. Predictions.
Well, Brian Kretzer really has the best reaction out there right now, and you can't ever count out Walter Ray. And Brian's a rookie, but he's been in a lot of situations going for a lot of money, and just this format, the one-game formats, I think you have to go with Brian right now just based on the fact that he's bowling great.
Brian?
I've got to say, you know, if you look at experience, certainly Walter Ray, but we've had a lot of one-time winners this year. And Brian Kretzer, there's no fear in this guy. I think he's more of the sentimental favorite than the wise pick.
Well, Walter Ray has won twice this year. He's going to go through for his third win, his second major of the year, his fifth major overall. When we come back to the PBA World Championships.
Walter Ray Williams Jr. has won 4 major championships in his incredible career. Brian Kretzer has never won a PBA title. Perhaps history is made today for Brian Kretzer as he's set to take on Walter Ray in the championship match just moments from now. NHL comes your way. Matinee special here on ESPN. 3 o'clock Eastern Time, original 6 matchup. The Bruins and Blackhawks from the UC in Chicago. The Red Wings are red hot. 11-0-1 in their past 12, taking on Paul Kariya and the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim on the West Coast. So, moments ago, Randy Peterson, we heard the prediction of Chris Barnes and Brian Voss. Who wins the championship match? You say?
You want me to try to get one right?
Absolutely.
For the year?
First time all year.
You know, I have to reiterate what Chris said. It's hard to bet against Walter Ray. but Brian Kretzer certainly looks like he has the better look. So I'm going to go with Brian Kretzer.
Wow, bold prediction. We'll see maybe if you get one right all year long. Geico Direct Championship recap, right, Dave?
Our first match, Pete Weber and Walter Ray Williams Jr. Walter Ray defeating Pete 217 to 207. And in semifinal number 2, it was Brian Kretzer. See the big drift to the left and the big feed right, taking on Parker Bohn III. Kretzer shut the door on Parker in the 10th frame, 248 to 222.
Our Geico Direct Championship recap. We'll find out how nervous Brian Kretzer is now, Leslie.
Well, he has a chance to do something he hasn't done before, and that is not just win a title, but win a major. How are your nerves, and how do you stay focused without thinking about the trophy and all of the money?
Well, I've been in this situation before in some big tournaments in the amateur career, but nothing obviously this big. But just getting the approach and telling myself to do my job, and when you do your job, usually things can work out right.
Well, focus is certainly never a problem for you, Walter Ray, but you've had such a terrific season. Coming into this season, you had 3 career major wins. You have a chance now to get 2 this season. What would it mean to your season?
Oh, this would be just unbelievable if I could win this week. I've had a great season, but I still want to win, and Brian's got a lot of handful, I think. I might have to hook the ball a little bit more. I didn't like the reaction I had. I was fortunate to beat Pete, so I'm going to have to go out and get Brian here.
Thanks, Walter Ray.
Perhaps a second major championship of the season on the line here for Walter Ray Williams Jr. And a chance to surpass $400,000 in earnings for a season. Brian Kretzer is thinking about his first ever title. He's won his first ever TV match. Could not have come at a more important time in his career.
Well, he's guaranteed $50,000, and you heard Pete Weber said it. If you want to be considered the best, you have to beat the best, and right now he's going against the world's #1 player.
Far and away his best ever finish at the PBA National or the World Championship. With the unorthodox approach in the pocket.
What a situation to be in. A second time on television.
That's got to be a good bowling ball.
The PBA Tour bowling for $120,000 against the #1 player in the world and the distinct title of being named PBA World Champion.
2 years ago, Walter Ray won in Toledo. Here we're in Taylor. More success for Walter Ray.
Check this out. Game's bowled. Little advantage. No wear and tear on Walter Ray. He had the extra days off. The rest, and almost 30 pins a game higher than average. It's kind of like a NFL wildcard team. You know, they don't get that week off. They're beat up, they're cut, they're bruised, but they're full of fight. That's Brian Kretzer.
Walter Ray, of course, won our points title. The top 8 players during the regular season got right to the Super 16, bypassing all the qualifying. That was the main goal in the march to the World Championship. Today's perfect for the tournament. He has been right on. Single pin conversion spared.
And right away, you see Walter Ray doing something a little bit different. He's going with loft. Getting the ball out further on the lane to reduce the hook. Said he didn't like his reaction a whole lot. He's very versatile. He can do a lot of different things. But right now, Brian Kretzer is playing his A game. Arena finals. First time ever for Brian.
Has responded quite well, thank you.
Nicely.
To the different surroundings, but they were here last night after starting off. Anyway, he's the only one of our 4 TV finalists who had to bowl over in Taylor through all that qualifying, all the games you saw a moment ago to get here to the arena.
And we call this the wiggle. That's when the ball gets down to the break point and it doesn't grab and doesn't make it back. And that ball wiggled because Brian just threw it bad. You heard him come back and said that was worse than the first one. When he gets a handful and he gets his hand through it the right way at the bottom of the swing at the release point, that ball will make it back.
Let's try to up his single pin conversion percentage, and does that.
Look. My ball always looks, doesn't it?
Things are even early
Great soccer player. And he had a scholarship to go to OSU, Ohio State, but got hurt.
Verbal scholarship offer, yeah, his senior year.
Didn't even average 200 in high school.
And since he's been hurt, he has not played competitive soccer. Still hears from his old soccer teammates occasionally. When are you going to give up this bowling thing? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Perfect ball, as we show it to you with the ESPN Instinct.
Great shot by Brian Kretzer, and one of the things that's really helped him this week is his strength. He's a carpenter by trade. He's very strong upper body. He bowled so many games this week, you got to be in good shape to do that.
What he sees. We see the records of some of the other bowlers competing here at the World Championship.
Some nice weeks by some great players. Stevie Wilson turning it on the last couple of weeks. Everybody's kind of sad that the tour's done, but welcoming the break. We only wished it wasn't for 5 months.
Walter Ray will be very busy, though. Bowls in a lot of regionals down in Florida. See the loft is putting on the ball. Another great shot. Deadeye makes his adjustments properly, and Walter Ray Williams Jr. with a double. Big strikes in frames 3 and 4. All bowlers are competing for the big prize money of $120,000 and the Eddie Elias Trophy. Named after the founder of the PBA Tour, founded this great organization in 1958, with the first tournaments taking place in '59. He guided the organization until his death in 1998. Leona and Ted Dobbins are the proprietors of Taylor Lanes, and we're pleased to announce that they'll be hosting the World Championship. Daughter Erin, who runs the Taylor Lanes, there as well. Nice moment for her, nice smile. They'll be hosting this World Championship for the next 3 years.
Great people. What a lovely family. Went out to dinner the other night, celebrated Johnny Petraglia's 56th birthday, and they're just wonderful hosts, and we just love going to Taylor Lanes. Here's a guy looking for a double.
Wow, gets it. Late help on the 7-pin.
That ball went out for cheeseburger and fries, came back with steak and baked potato. I mean, this thing is way right. He feeds this ball out to almost the third board, comes ripping back, gets the wally. Brian Kretzer right now is tied with Walter Ray Williams Jr. and really hasn't made a great shot with the exception of the one in the third.
All even. 5th frame. Strike here for a 10-pin lead. Kretzer. 4 strikes in the first 5. Much better ball. Doesn't need any help there.
And right you are. That ball there was gut flush perfect. When they all go off the deck at the same time, you know you threw it great. He got it in the right spot, hit the foul line the right way. Direction and ball speed were perfect. Very little emotion.
Back to Walter Ray. 2-pin. He's bidding for a 3-bagger, trying to even things up.
Walter Ray has moved in. He's going with loft. He's trying to hook it more. That ball didn't read it right.
With a spare ball, picks up the mark.
Is this light supposed to be on?
That's Ray speaking with our tournament director, Kirk Von Kruger, about the approach. Strike percentage numbers a bit higher in the tournament than throughout the regular season, and he's been right on today.
I asked him if this was his best year ever for bowling. He said no, 93.
10-pin.
You know, and I think the amazing thing about Walter Ray was as good as he's bowled in the 90s and 2000s, you got to remember he was player of the year in 1986.
5 times Player of the Year. 93, the year you just mentioned. 86, 96, 97, and 98. Parker Bohn III won the Schenkel MVP award last year. He's upset with the lighting that's on the approach there on that right lane. There's some fancy PBA lighting there, and Walter Ray would like to turn it off.
That was your spot. I'm sorry.
Walter Ray is pretty loose for a guy that's trying to win 120 grand. I'd be looking for the air sickness bag right about now.
A big goal for Walter Ray, trying to tie Earl Anthony. And the 6th Player of the Year, as you saw a moment ago, he has 5. Oh, 7-10. Stays up for Kretzer. So can you believe that break?
And man is in such a bad spot.
This is not good. Blowout 7-10. Ball gets to the pocket. Watch what the fans do.
The fans are right on top of it, trying to convert. Cannot. Bank the 10-pin off the wall and across the deck, and Walter Ray sees a big opening with the first open frame of this match. 6th for Kretzer. He was bidding for a 4-bagger and a 22-pin lead.
And Walter Ray takes the lead sitting on the bench.
Shows you a 10-pin for Kretzer. He's got to overcome the open frame. Remember, he's won 1 TV match. That came today. He's never won a title. And despite the exterior appearance of being relaxed, he's got to be churning inside.
Has to be, without a doubt. Especially after going pocket 7-10. Makes a great shot here on the left lane. Goes ringing 10. And then you got Walter Ray breathing down your neck.
Big day for Brian Kretzer, and big for lots of basketball teams. Championship week rolls on. Conference USA Women's Championship game on ESPN2 today, 2 o'clock Eastern. Then the West Coast Conference semifinal tonight, midnight Eastern, 9 on the West Coast. For more, log on ESPN.com. Championship week presented by 7-Up. Here it's our World Championship in Taylor. Walter Ray trying to take advantage with a dagger in that frame. Instead, it's a 10-pin.
And normally this is the time when Walter Ray really starts to take it to his opponent. After the opponent's given him an opening, Walter Ray usually steps up and just starts pounding you in the face. Right now, the best he can settle for is 9 spare. He would still maintain a 1-pin lead with the 8th, 9th, and 10th frame left.
Picks up his mark. Walter Ray Williams Jr., an incredible season, leading in every major offensive category and, of course, in money. He can go over $400,000. If he takes the 120, he'll come pretty close with at least a runner-up check of $50,000. An event record purse.
What I could do with 120 grand, Dave Ryan.
Works on a spare.
Here it comes.
There it goes.
Messenger
all the way across the deck for the 10-pin.
You've seen it before, and what a great time for this to happen. Head pin going left, coming right. Get out of the way, 10-pin.
Takes a lead.
Brian Kretzer can strike out 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Shoot. 236. Walter Ray can strike out for 237. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
He does indeed! Oh, my goodness!
Walter Ray carries the messenger on the left lane, and Brian Kretzer gets on the right lane and says, hey, Walter, I got a message for you. Here it comes. Nice.
Bumper-to-bumper traffic there on the pin deck. PWBA Lady Ebonite Classic comes your way next here on ESPN. But first, we've got to determine a world champion in Taylor. Now looks for a double 9th frame, the foundation frame. A huge moment for Kretzer, who's never won a PBA title coming into this TV day. Strike here, he is up 9 pins. Huge shot. Knew it as soon as he released it, it came in high.
Huge shot.
Not happy.
Huge
I
shot.
got my hand out of it finally. God damn it, Kretzer.
Bad shot. That ball just overreacted. 3-6-10. It's not over yet. Make the spare here, Brian. Let's see what Walter Ray Williams Jr. does. But first things first, cover the 3-6-10.
Does that. Desperately needed it.
Well, strike in the 9th frame for Walter Ray.
Come on.
And a strike in the 10th. Walter Ray will win this championship. We also have a possibility of a tie.
Keep that in the back of your mind. We've had a roll-off for a championship already on Long Island. Big shot. He's got it.
Come on, one more. Come on.
One more strike. 10th frame. Walter Ray is the world champion. This guy makes some of the best shots under pressure I have seen in my 23-year career. One strike, 5 pins. It's all over.
Earlier in the year, he won in Detroit. Regular PBA stop. We return to the Motor City now for the World Championship. All on this shot. A strike. He wins a second major of the year. Walter Ray Williams Jr. once again on the verge of a major championship. He needs 5. He'll take 9, and he'll take home the 2003 PBA World Championship title. Without question, our PBA Player of the Year, Walter Ray Williams Jr., a champion again. Sees a 37th career PBA championship, 3rd of the year, and 5th major. The couple very happy now is $120,000 richer today. What a moment for Walter Ray Williams Jr. He takes care of Brian Kretzer in the finals and again wins a major championship. ESPN's exclusive live coverage of the PBA World Championship is brought to you by Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. What's your size? By Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. And by Geico Direct, the sensible alternative. That is 10th TV show of the year, a 3rd title, and most certainly wrapping up a 6th PBA Player of the Year award. The happy winner now with our Leslie Goodell.
Yeah, Dave, 10 TV appearances this year. Like you said, 3 titles, 2 of them majors. Could you have asked for a better year and a better way to finish it?
Well, I guess I could have won all 22, but this is unbelievable. I never would have thought to win 3 tournaments and 2 of them being majors like this. It's an unbelievable year.
And I don't think there's any question about you being Player of the Year at this point as well. How about knocking off both this title as World Champion and Player of the Year in one fell swoop?
I think this might clinch it.
Now, you've silenced your critics because you and I talked yesterday and you said there are those who had said before, hey, you know, you've won a lot of tournaments, you've been doing this for a long time, but you have 3 majors. You should have won more. Now you've won 5. You think you've silenced them?
Maybe 1 or 2 of them.
I've never seen Walter Ray speechless like this before, but Walter Ray, why don't you show everyone your trophy? Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
139th TV appearance for Walter Ray Williams Jr. is perfect. What a great year it's been, folks. We'd like to thank PBA President Steve Miller, Ian Hamilton, and Dave Schroeder, along with the entire PBA staff, Kirk Von Kruger, our tournament director, Nick Hogan, Beth Marshall, our team led by Russ Dewey and Jen Casey. An incredible job by them all year long. Special thanks to producer Mike Roth, director Scott Katz, associate producers Ray Jacobs, Michael Rosenblum, along with our great crew of TV professionals, our PBA pros, Tim Chris, Joe Ciccone, and Paul Kaler, helping all year long. Congratulations to Walter Ray Williams Jr. Wraps up an incredible PBA season. All of us here at ESPN hope you enjoyed this season as much as we have. Ladies bowling is coming up next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Now for my partner, Randy Peterson and Leslie Goodell, it's Dave Ryan saying so long for a final time in this 2002-2003 PBA season.